Good afternoon. I'm in the middle of another event, so excuse the background noise. Well, it's such an honor to be able to speak here and share what I have come up so far, given the title. So, if you can see my screen now, I'll keep it like this because if I put it full, then everything will be darkened out. So, as introduced before, I'm the focal point for Bandung City of Design since 2015, and I'm also active in this organic. Hello. Um,
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
yeah, because the noise, people are opening their mic. Anyway, so when given this creative city heritage for the future, what comes to mind is whatever we do today will become the legacy of tomorrow. So what kind of message do you want to convey? So here in this case of Indonesia, I should actually show this first. These figures represents the at the same time, yeah, potentials of Indonesia, but also challenges, because logistics, distributions of products and services is always a challenge for us, given the 17,000 something islands and so on. But if we look into the technology of informatics and communication and digital, it's very widely spread, and it's easier to spread them than the physical objects. Um, and 70% of the people are already internet users, and 61% of them can already use and access social media. So what do you do in order to get the balance and so on? And then back to Bandung. If people heard Bandung, if they're from Asian countries or African countries, usually they refer to this event, which is very memorable because it's 1955 Bandung Conference, which actually aspire a lot of countries to declare their independence. Now, then we have this. If you see the red, these red boxes, these are actually the spirit or the keywords that we still carry on to today. So this building is still there. It's in our museum. But then the spirit of this 10 point of declaration on promotion of world peace stays there. So that's where Bandung is now. And if you see the overview of the city, we are here as the capital city of West Java province. 3 million people only, but then the city is very pleasant for us to stay because of for the mountainous air. It's small. It's enough for us to go around. So we have more than 100 universities, and then 14 we have at least 14 schools, higher education universities that has design, architecture, and so on. And if you can imagine, from these schools, every year Bandung accept young people who wants to learn, who wants to study, and they would stay for 3 to 4 years. And they're actually the ones that determine the dynamics of the city because they want to hang out. They would need a space to be pleasant with their friends. They would need places of expressions and so on. So that's why Bandung is developed like that in a way. And in the early 2000s, we are trying to map ourselves, so we get to know ourselves as a city. What are you in the matter of value, vision, personality, and positioning? So we know that, for example, value. We know what Bandung is good as. But people come to Bandung. So Bandung is a city for education, for example. People come to Bandung for the hospitality services, for the nice products, for the maker space, and so on and so on. So we know that our value stays in this education, art and design, and so on. And in vision, we just have to be brave to say what do we want to be in the next 10, 20 years. Personality, we map ourselves compared to other cities who are also creative cities. Which are we good at? Because if you hear Bali or if you heard Jogja and so on, they're also creative cities, but then they're more heavily loaded into traditional aspect of it, and so on and so on. So in personality, we map ourselves as tolerant and avant-garde, progressive, and so on. Um, and positioning, then this is also a statement. Then we can be any kind of creative cities that we can be. Another formula that we submit to UNESCO is that we very much aware that we have these three main potentials: people, place, and ideas, as the most main potential of Bandung. And the intersection of these three comes if we have built environment, it's always having business potential. So every corner of Bandung you can find suddenly there's a nice cafe or there's a pop-up shop for books and so on and so on. And if we have innovation, it's not only social innovation, but it's also have economic value. And if we have communities, they're always active and entrepreneurial. And we see the city as an organic entity, just like our body. So if something is wrong or if the body is ill, maybe you don't have the whole hospital to heal it. But then you have these needles of creativity that if you pin in a right place and then you do it repeatedly, consistently, then the place will heal. And we hope that the healing goes to the spread to the whole body. So that's what we do with our public space intervention. We call it urban acupuncture. And as a city of design, we have this commitment because we have all UNESCO cities should use the potential to answer to this SDG. So that's also what we're doing. But then what happens if we do all these activities as a city of design? And this is also what we said to UNESCO. What is design for us? What is being city of design mean, or what does it comply? So this is our argument that design for us is it's not only about physical appearance and built environment of the city, but also the idea of design as a way of thinking to solve urban issues. Design for us is also a thing to manage, to create values and meanings according to the actual needs and context. For us, creativity is a strategy to lessen the gap between people and government, people and policy, and among all stakeholders. And we've been using prototypes, social innovation, experiments, public scale objects to make rapid improvement that can be conducted by citizens at all levels. So apparently UNESCO accepted this angle, and then we become the first city of design from Southeast Asia together with Singapore. And then this is what we mean by having this acupuncture. So we have prototypes, public space intervention in any form, and we address many issues here. We address the issue of cinema, bike sharing, public art, and so on. And we also make prototypes for social experiments that involve public space, public transportations, and so on. And then much later, when technology already enables it, we make a lot of urban games involving young people, making apps, programming, and so on and so on. So the city becomes a living lab. Again, back to the subject of this, back to the theme of this talk, creating heritage. So whatever we do here, whatever we do now, it actually changes how people perceive city, how people perceive space, for example. Is it a space for working, or is it a space for mixed use, or who belongs there, and so on and so on. So in a way, we create a new kind of heritage for the next generations. Among those kind of interventions also, as a game, we also have this game that kind of, it's like a game of a treasure hunt. But then what you hunt here is actually stories about history of food. Why is this area has, for example, a lot of Chinese food and Sundanese food, or over the European food and so on. It has to do with who used to live there, who used to make a living out of the food business and so on. And we made this into a fun game, but active game that you can follow, and then it gives impact to the economics and to the social life of the people around it. So again, about mapping, after we enter UNESCO as a city of design, we are really encouraged to then make our own design biennale. As you know, biennale is an event every 2 years. And in this team, we would like to map, or would like to measure in the context of design, how far can do we already achieve it, and so on. So these are photos from data from 2019, the Biennale. So this year we're having another one, and actually it's still going. And this week is the end of the Biennale 2021. But then what I'm showing you is from 2019. Then we can see there's a Bandung map on the right hand side. You can see dots, spots where hotspots of design is working, and each color represent different kind of activities. Does it belong to an old establishment, or is it just a small activation of a company, and so on, or communities? So in that way, we are keeping the what do you call it? We're keeping the habit, so we keep doing it. And in the end, these communities-driven organic growth of spaces in cities happen, because then, as I mentioned before, young people come to Bandung, they look for space, they look for a place to express themselves and so on, and they don't have too much money to do it, but they have a lot of ideas, they have a lot of ways to gather. So this is what happened. In Bandung, you can find many spaces organically change into something else. So for example, Gudang Selatan. This is a military area. There are lots of warehouses where they used to store weapons and so on. It's not used anymore, but it still belong to the military. So a couple of young people come and they make deals with the military over there, and then they can make these cafes and gathering place. Pasar means market, and this is Chapit market. They if the market is closed in the afternoon, then at night it opens again, but for different activities. We can have discussions, play music, and then there's a cafe also over there and so on. Kosambi, this is the name of this big marketplace. It used to have accident here, fire accident, so nobody used that area anymore. But then again, a couple of young people came and then turned it into a hangout place like this. Fairly cheap, but then it's a hipster place because they can make it. So imagine if we leave this be, and then if we let the organic growth be, and we even enable them to be activated, then we can have a lot of footprints on this. And it's not only Bandung actually. So these are different cities in Indonesia. This is in West Java, Sulawesi, and so on. They also use the old spaces. So it happens anywhere where young people usually gathers, and they have this potential of making the change. And this is from Indonesia Creative Cities Network data. So our network already, our members also have those kind of places that I showed, but then different islands. And for the next ones, maybe I just go through it quickly, because what I want to show here is just that we have our own traditional culture, right? But then if we mix it with the creative economy and then the way of creative industry is going now, actually they have become kind of endless resource of inspiration. So if we see metal music from Bandung, it's never just metal music, but it always mixed with our Sundanese language. It's always mixed with rituals at the stage and so on. And that becomes unique because in every creative economy clusters, and then you can see this is like a game, a digital game, but then they use elements from West Java to have their heroes and characters, and even the words of saying spells and so on. So in many ways, we have been revisiting and reviving our traditional potentials into something that is very contemporary and that can be easily digested by young people and by all stakeholders of creative industries. And then another thing that I want to show you is if you have kind of those kind of initiatives and you want to make it last, so you want to make it sustainable and keep having good impacts to people, then we connected to, for example, university. So we held conferences that actually solidify or set the stepping stone for another thinking level. Because universities, we believe that it's the place to make mistakes, it's to make experiments, and it's the place to really make another concept and to revisit actually and to exercise with this thinking on creativity, creative economy, and so on. We also make conference with the government, because then we have to communicate what we come up with at the campus, at the society, and we have to communicate it to the government so they can provide exact policy that we need to do in order to be able to do these things. And the last part that is very important actually, it so happens that at the city of Bandung, we community managed to push a bill on creative economy. So whoever holds the position as the mayor or as the authority of Bandung, they should always support creative economy. So this bill was passed in 2021 in January. So this is among our achievements so far. Uh, and then at a bigger scale, if we see at the global level, we have highlights and momentums considering creative economy. For example, we have World Conference on Creative Economy, but we have also G20, which will be hosted by Indonesia next year as we hold the presidency. And what we want to do is to mainstream creative economy to be the issue that should be cared for by other stakeholders. And also, maybe some of you have heard that we have this policy paper symposium by Asian Development Bank Indonesia. And then next year we plan to strengthen this notion by also keep bringing the idea of creative economy and having the argument that creative economy is actually a sector that can be resilient in facing future challenges. We are involved in writing the policy recommendation titled Inclusive Creative Economy and the Future of Work. And this year, we are involved in writing this recommendation called Creative Economy 2030, Inclusive and Resilient Creative Economy for Sustainable Development and Recovery. So this year, we also want to have to really prove it that what we write here is actually doable and it's actually a perfect formula to face the future. This is my last slide, I think. This is you can find this at this website because they collect all the policy recommendation. And this one, inclusive creative economy and the future of work, actually involves this one person. Our argument here is people who are working in the sector of creative economy actually are the most resilient to face the future and to answer the sustainable development goal because they're really savvy in using technology. They know the needs of delivering products and services in the right way, and so on. And he's supported by this many sectors as well. I think that's my talk for now. Sorry if I took too long, but we hope we can discuss more. Thank you.